All right, welcome back to our last episode of SuperLook. Again, we thank you for joining us on all of our other episodes and talking about just the different topics that we brought to the table. So we're going to just take a look back and talk about some of our favorites, least favorites, and give some side notes. Again, we're here with special guest Avea, and this episode is for the final time brought to you by Butler Tech Digital Media Podcast Studios. Let's take a super look. Okay, let's go. Okay, do you want to start off talking about some of your favorite topics?
I'm trying to think. Because I feel like the Evil Eye one, I like very much because I can relate to it. So I have a lot more insight on it than like the other topics we talked about, like the sweeping at night. That one I don't really know much about because, as I said before, my stepmom will she'll sweep. Doesn't matter. It'll be 8 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m. She'll
Cats, sweeping, finding a four-leaf clover, pennies.
Oh, a four-leaf clover is my favorite because when I was younger, I have successfully found one, and I ate it. My mom told me if I ate it, it'd change the color of my eyes.
Why would she tell you
and
that?
It did actually. It actually worked. So,
I think you're delusional. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing.
My eyes originally were a dark brown, and now they're a lighter brown.
I don't think I've ever found a four-leaf clover. I'm still...
Exactly. Exactly!
I'd have to say one of my favorite topics was probably also the Evil Eye because it's definitely relevant in pop culture. And, you know, I get like an actual primary source of information that's not TikTok or just like a simple Google search. You know, I actually get like an insight into the culture from a person who is experiencing and practicing all of these different practices themselves.
Exactly. Do not use TikTok as your prime source. It can be very helpful, but there are liars. Please do your research.
TikTok is the worst place to do research. Oh my God.
Like any social media, please.
About sleep paralysis in one of the earlier episodes.
Oh my goodness, sleep paralysis is like the scariest thing. We can go into our least favorites.
That being top of the list, top two, and it's not two.
Yeah, I like sleep paralysis is like the worst thing to ever experience, because it's like you're like laying there not being able to move because like you're still in a sleep state, but then your mind isn't, and it's like horrible. And like I don't know if my mind was just playing tricks with me, but there was a person in that corner. There was a person in the corner, and like I've had an experience like. I think recently I've had sleep paralysis not that long ago.
I guess side note, we talked about in the last episode the ethics of selling anointing products in churches and different locations. I'm shaking my head. That's all I can say. Just focus on being unified and focus on the community as a unit and loving each other instead of promising God's favors and forgiveness through something that is sold with a price tag on it. Jesus never healed anyone for a price. I feel like it could be taking advantage of people, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like the idea of like just religion in general kind of scares me.
Organized religion is not for me, especially these days.
Because I mean, like they've taken the idea of these religions and kind of flipped it. It's like, oh, well, if you don't do this, then you're going to go to a bad place.
It's turned into from, like, the way that you live your life on the path to happiness into, like, a law that you need to follow to avoid eternal damnation. And that's not what life is about because then, at the end of the day, are you, like, living life or are you just living in fear?
Yeah. Because, I mean, like...
Clock that T.
That's like exactly what it is because, I mean, I feel like when they're like, oh, if you don't do this, you're not going to go to heaven or da-da-da-da. That it's setting in that fear of not being able to, like, live your life to the fullest or, like, not even to the fullest, just being happy in your life. And, I mean, there are people out there who are happy in their religion, and, I mean, I'm happy for them, but that's just not a life for me.
I just wish more people could find happiness in their religion, and they were more encouraged to find happiness in their religion, just not through fear-mongering.
No, yeah. And, like, the people who are like, oh, well, if you don't do this, then you're going to da-da-da. I mean, I have the question of, like, is this even real? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, yeah, there's this, and this, but, I mean, the Bible was made from a man.
And there have been so many
years ago.
translations that are incorrect, whether it's deliberate or accidental. So how could we know that this source is even 100% authentic?
Exactly.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed learning about superstitions and our views and all that. This episode is brought to you by Butler Tech Digital Media Podcast Studios. This is our last Super Look. Thank you for listening.